So I recently went through a pretty intense bout of demotivation where I felt like I had absolutely no energy to do anything. I could barely get myself out of bed in the morning, and thinking about the future and thinking about the things I used to be excited about achieving just felt dark. It felt depressing. And I went through a lot of hoops trying to figure out what was going on because it was just so unlike me. It was so out of character for myself. And I went through a lot of different scenarios in my mind of what it could be causing it. And I want to make this video just because I'll basically be breaking down what I found about myself, and not to say that I've got all the answers, but what I can do is just relate my experience, and hopefully I can relate with you in some way to my struggle. So the first thing I did is trying to figure out the cause, try to figure out why it was happening. And it was absolutely, I was drawing a blank. I couldn't, if knew the reason, I could have fixed it right away. So I'm not going to just say, oh, you got to detail the cause and then get down to the root of the problem and then move from there. It wasn't that easy because it went from literally being extremely motivated to always wanting to achieve, improve, and grow to I'm already where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at. Why would I even do anything else? And it was just a crazy loss of motivation. And it wasn't contentment. It was really bordering depression. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because that wasn't what it was. It was just unmotivation. That's all it was. So one thing I started doing from the very beginning that really, really helped was celebrating the smallest wins, just celebrating the smallest wins possible. When it's hard to even get yourself out of bed, it can be really, really difficult to achieve these bigger goals. And that puts you in a place where everything feels hopeless. Everything feels like you're losing out, and it feels like there's no wins to celebrate. So I started celebrating the smallest things possible. The smallest things I'd accomplish, I would celebrate that. Even if it's just a matter of cleaning a room in the house, or going for a run, or going and finding something to get yourself out of the house once or twice. It didn't have to be anything big. It could be something very, very small, and I would celebrate. These small wins would then help me build up momentum throughout the day until I was achieving bigger and better goals throughout the day. The next thing that really helped was setting daily routines, setting routines of things that weren't work, that were actually incorporating things that I would do for fun, things I would do for pastimes, things that I would do that I normally wouldn't even add in my calendar, would be to set a routine for those things. And that would set up some structure in life for accomplishing things that weren't work related. And so it wasn't like every single time there's something came about that I had a hard time motivating myself to do, there would be things that I could really easily motivate myself to do. And once again, this is really playing off the small wins thing. But what I would do is I would have these things scheduled on the calendar, like, okay, now it's time to go play pickleball. And then that would be on my alerts, and that would be doing my notifications, and I would go and do that thing, and I would be continuing checking those boxes off on my list. Once again, it was just all about adding motivation and building on to that existing motivation that I had, this, no matter how small it is. And this seemed to help tremendously for me. And once I had that routine, it was really easy to start incorporating things that were bigger and bigger into the routine. Because when you go from being able to barely get out of bed to suddenly you're checking things off your list, you're celebrating the small wins, and then you're starting to incorporate routines that are in place that you may not have had a routine before, it's just a good feeling. It makes you feel good about yourself, makes you feel good about the direction that you're going. And for me, it made a huge difference. And next, this leads me to scheduling time where you listen to motivational videos. Now, this sounds crazy. This sounds really metaphysical, but what I did is I had a time each day that I would actually listen to these motivational videos, and it helped so much. It wasn't just because it was a scheduled time to do something. Yes, that was a win, but I could actually be knowing that this is the time where I'm listening to something that is going to really get me fired up. It was going to really help, and it wasn't just a piecemeal thing. It was that time of day is where I'm going to be listening to this motivational tape. And like, whether that's Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, there's a lot of different ones that I like to listen to. And those guys would really get me fired up at that time of day. And so having that consistency there was a huge stepping stone in helping me get motivated and stay motivated throughout the day. One aspect that was a real struggle for me was learning to get out, go to the gym every day for more than just the physical aspect of it. This would be also a social aspect because I work from home, and many times I'll go a day or two without seeing anybody. I'll just be home all day, every day. I won't see anybody. And that's a tough life. That's really is a tough life when you're just at the house. And of course, family counts, but at the end of the day, getting out and interacting with other people. And I know going to the gym, you can go there and not be sociable. But at the end of the day, if the goal is to just talk to one or two people, try to meet one or two people that maybe you hadn't met before. And as I incorporated it as part of my routine, I would found that I would look forward to that time of day to go to the gym. And plus, all the health benefits are there. Everybody knows that. I don't need to go down the road of explaining how important it is to go to the gym, but just going to the gym and developing that interpersonal connection to other people, and also have a time of day that you look forward to, that you're going to be networking a little bit, is just so important. It was such a big help for me. So while you're planning your calendar, also plan the times for going to the gym and what time you go to sleep. Sleep is just so incredibly important at this phase. When I was really struggling with all this motivation, put a scheduled time that you go to sleep and stick to it. You will not regret it. You'll never regret going to sleep early. Exercising every day or every other day and going to sleep at a regular time was massive for me. And next, just like going to the gym to be with people, think about who you are already spending time with. There's people that I removed from my life because they were bringing a negative force, negative mental energy into my space. And removing them from my life freed up some of that negative energy that I was getting from them that was bringing me down, that was making me depressed. And just comparing yourself to those around you and think, do I want to be like these people? Do I want to be like the people in my life? And if that answer is no, then it's time to really take a good hard look at who you're spending time with and make some clear choices to remove or distance yourself from those people in your life. And if you're like me, distancing yourself from certain people will definitely free up some time on your social calendar. At least it did for me. And this led me to wanting to try new stuff, wanting me to try. And when I was unmotivated, I really had to force myself to do this. But I even went in, I tried yoga. I went and tried group fitness trainings. I went and tried new sports. I went and tried several new things. Looked into chess clubs in the area, looked into different sporting clubs. I settled for pickleball. That was something that I really latched onto very early on, and it was just a ton of fun. Still play, competing in tournaments now, and gave me the opportunity to not only try something new that I had no idea that I would like pickleball until I tried it for the first time. And without that, I would have now missing out on 3 days a week. I'm playing pickleball and I'm hanging out. I've got a group of people that I'm hanging out with that we play together, and it's just been phenomenal. So being able to have that ability to not only try new things, but fill up your calendar with new activities, fill your calendar up with new things, new events, new sports that you've never tried before. Something I really like to try to really get into again is hiking. It was something that I used to love doing, and I went not a ton, but I would go every once in a while in California. And now there's nowhere I haven't hiked for years. I went on any hikes for years, and so there's a lot of groups you can meet up with. It's going to be a little bit of a drive for me, but a lot of things that I can try to just to meet new people and to go on new events, new strategies, new techniques I can use to really bring that motivation where there may not have been any before. Now, playing pickleball, when I see improvement in my skill set and I see myself getting better and better, that's motivating. That brings motivation back into my life. Because once again, the key here isn't this may sound very similar to what somebody may do when they're depressed. I want to be very clear. Actual depression is a very real thing, and you may want to consult a therapist about that. But for me, it was very specifically on motivation. It was just I wasn't motivated about anything in life. It felt like everything was monotonous. It felt like everything was just humdrum day to day. Really had a hard time getting myself out of bed, getting myself motivated to really do anything. Even something as simple as brushing my teeth, taking a shower felt really difficult. So I really wanted to bring all of these things up, because once I started having these little pieces of excitement, things to look forward to, and motivation, it brought my overall feeling of well-being up. It brought my overwhelming feeling of motivation up, just because I had all of these little wins and all of these little exciting things happening spaced out throughout the day. And lastly, I want to really encourage you to think about what your purpose is. There's all of us have a greater purpose that we have attached to what we do. And if you don't, that is going to be depressing to begin with. One of my big things that I lost motivation for, that I realized after going through some of these exercises I'm about to share with you, was I lost a really big sense of purpose in my life. And that was a failed marriage. That was a failed marriage, a marriage that I had a lot of invested in, had a lot of purpose attached to it. And when that failed, it was just a tremendous deflation of my purpose. And so really finding a new purpose in life was very, very difficult. And finding a new purpose that I could use to reflect on, that I could meditate on, that I could focus on, is really a work in progress to this day. And so finding a new purpose in life is something that I'd really like to make a whole nother video on. But for this video, I just want to say, spend a lot of time thinking about what really, really gets me excited? What gets me motivated? And if this isn't there, then that might be a reason you're watching this video. But spending a lot of time thinking about the things that do get you excited in the long run, the big term. What is it? Maybe is it being famous? Maybe you want to help a lot of people. Maybe you want to make a lot of money. I can tell you from my experience, motivation is a terrible motivator. Money is a terrible motivator. And money, once you get that there, each time there's fear that it's going to be gone. There's fear that the next level is what you need. The next level is going to be the motivation after that. And it's always, always there. There's always somebody bigger. There's always somebody with more money, and you're never going to be at the right spot financially. And I want to say that for me right now, what I'm searching for when it comes to my purpose is helping other people. That's been the best thing so far. That's something that it's always going to be there. It's always going to be motivating. And whenever you help somebody and maybe they recognize you for that, that's just such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling to be helping out. And so there's a lot of different areas of opportunity there. I'm looking into volunteering at local areas, local organizations, and it's been very rewarding so far. I hope these tips help you find your motivation, and just remember that this is a very normal thing to experience. A lot of other people have experienced it, and even somebody like me who's never had an issue being motivated can suddenly find it gone through massive life events, big changes in life. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this. And go ahead and share your own tips in the comments below, something that maybe helps you that I didn't mention. I would love to hear from you guys. Until next time, stay motivated, keep pushing forward. I'll see you in the next video.